Oz from Budget Scenery Workshop here. I just want to give a shout out to someone that's been helping out the channel recently, and that is RPGstories. I will post a link to their Instagram, and they have a Kickstarter which is going live as we speak. So I will post links to them, and they are a dungeon creator for all your online games. So you can see the links there, and all the information will be on their Instagram and on their website. That is www.rpgstories.net. Thanks, RPG Stories. Now on with the video. Today I'm going to make some fences and walls. What am I using? Using these scouring pads that come in a pack of 10. These cost 69p. I've got some 4" by 6" chipboard sheets. Pack there. In best Blue Peter fashion, I have some XPS bricks I made earlier. And I've got a whole bag of this play sand that I'm going to use as well. So that's what I'm going to build today. So the first thing you want to do is just figure out how you want them. Either you can do them like that or like that. For the purpose of these, I think I'd get more if I did them that way. So I think I'm going to cut these into 2" strips, and the same goes for these scouring pads, and I should get a lot more. I'm not going to cut them all up, but I should get a lot more that way. So that's what I'm going to do next. For the base, all you need to do is just cut your whatever you're using as a base into 1" strips. And if you don't have one of these, I believe it's like a fabric ruler used for measuring fabric, obviously. Very handy. So just cut these into 1" strips. And what you want to do with your scouring pads is cut these into 2" strips, because what you're going to do is you're going to fold these in half. And as you can see, you should get at least 3 out of these. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut these up. Then we will have our scouring pads and our bases. Now, as you can see there, I used a knife, and although it was a fresh blade in there, with this being a scouring pad, it still kind of frayed it at the bottom. So the best thing, a pair of scissors, it may sound obvious, but there, as you can see, that's the scissors, that's the knife. So yeah, use scissors. And with your chipboard, you'll be fine using just a sharp knife. Just a couple of passes, and you get a nice clean edge. So I'm going to do that for the rest of these, and I'm going to come back. Now it's time for the next bit. Okay, now you have all your base pieces cut out. I have 10, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 5 hedges and 5 brick walls. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. So all you want to do next is just mark out the centre on each of these. Just so you know you get in the middle every time. So again, I'm going to come back when all these have been done. Okay, this next step isn't 100% necessary, but it's just going to make this a lot firmer. So I use tacky glue, but I suppose PVA will be perfectly usable as well. It's just going to add a little bit more sturdiness to the whole thing. And I like keeping a relatively tidy workbench, that's why I have this down, but also for a later step, which you will see. Okay, so that's that. Let's get a coffee stirrer, so you can fold it in half neatly. Then with your stapler, there you go. You can slide that out. That's one done. So I'm going to carry on with the rest of these. Okay, with the 5 hedges done, what you're then going to do is, like I said, this step's optional. It's just to keep them all uniform and to make sure the tacky glue adheres all the way through. And just place it on a bit of baking parchment. I was getting parchment paper and baking parchment mixed up. Just fold it over like that. Just place something reasonably heavy on top. It doesn't need to be super heavy. It's just so it spreads the glue out and it dries. So next we are going to work on the brick walls. The next thing you want to do is just figure out how high you want your wall. Now I want these to be pretty much the same height as the hedges, so it takes 4 bricks to make approximately 1 inch. So that's how high I'm going to make it. And for these, I'm just going to glue them directly onto the base. Again, just using tacky glue, but PVA is perfectly acceptable as well. Okay, when you have your first layer of bricks, we're going to go 4 bricks high. What you then want to start doing, just like a regular wall, is just offsetting the next layer. And don't worry about the end pieces just yet. We're going to sort those out when we've finished this second layer. Just off-center them, leaving the gap there at the end. We'll sort that out when I've finished this. Okay, for the end pieces, super simple. All you want to do is just see how much you need. Just make it so it's snug. Obviously, if you want to make the your wall look distressed, if you've got a brick or a sharp stone, which you should have, in with texture in your bricks, you can just rub it on there. Give it a bit of a squeeze. And there you go. So I'm just going to finish off this side, then the next two layers. Okay, so I've decided on only making them 3 bricks high, because that looks fine. So I'm going to make 5 more of these, then we're going to get on to the next step. Alright, so we have our nicely pressed scourers. You may notice they're a little thin, so if you don't like this, how thin they are, just don't weigh as much weight on the top, or just don't weigh anything on top, and they'll be nice and slim. Okay, so, also I finished up the walls, so I've got 5 of those. Now just with a little hot glue, I'll just get one ready just in case. You can of course use PVA, but that just takes longer obviously to set. Like these, just make sure you're in the middle, press down so it sets evenly, take away any excess, and there you go. Now don't worry about seeing these staples. Like I said, obviously you don't need to use the staples. You could just use glue and weigh them down. That's just how I'm doing these ones. Okay, I'm going to get these finished up and then I'm going to come back for the next step. Okay, for the brick sections of the wall, all I'm doing is just giving them a base of Mod Podge and black acrylic paint. That'll just protect it, make it last a bit longer hopefully. Next, what I'm going to do is see all these staples and these gaps there. I'm just going to cover this up with, all this is ready mix polyfiller and water, just to make it run a little bit better. I'm just going to use an old paintbrush. I need to cover it completely. So I'm just going to do that to all of them. And I've got this taupe cheap acrylic paint. I'm just going to cover the entire walls, the brick walls, with this. That's going to be the first step of the painting. So I've just added a little bit of water so it runs into all the cracks and crevices. Now for possibly my favourite part, is where it all starts coming together. Just a little tip, if you ever get these little sauce tubs from takeaways or delis or whatever, wash them out and keep hold of them, as they're useful to put little pots of glue and mixed paint in. So, what you want to do, now all this stuff is dry, just give it a good coat of PVA all over the scouring pad. Then what you want to do, try not to get it on the base. Then what you're going to do after that is just dip it in the flock. I'm using my mixed homemade flock here. And all you're going to do is, after you've coated this, just dip it in there a couple of times, shake off the excess, and then we're on to pretty much how these are going to end up looking. Right, that's all coated in PVA now. So I'm just going to dip it in the flock. Give it a good shake, make sure to get both sides. Tap off your excess. And there you go. Missed a bit down the bottom there. There you go. Now you can just dry brush these without flocking them, but I much prefer the look of them being flocked. Okay, there we go. So I've tried a couple of different things for the base. This was used with the sterling mud. It's okay, but I think I prefer just the plain, just PVA and sand. So I think I'm gonna do the rest of the hedges and the wall sections just with using, regular PVA and sand. Okay, normally I use my homemade wash that I sometimes make, but since I have this known oil that I've never used, I thought I might as well use that. So I'm gonna give these all a black wash, or a non-oil wash. And then I'm gonna dry brush it, the wall sections, in white. And I can move on to these bases. Now you can see I've given them quite a somewhat heavy dry brush. So I've just got one to finish off. Then I'll be doing the same basing technique with these, which is just PVA and sand. I'll just be painting the bases. Okay, there we go. That's that done. So next, the bases, I'll come back when it's time to paint them. And there we have 10 finished pieces. There's 5 hedges and 5 wall pieces. And all I did with the base was just paint it a base of burnt sienna and just a very light dry brush of burnt umber. The thing is, with it being not very sturdy, it kind of bowed a tiny bit. So what I did for my other ones was these thick lollipop sticks, or tongue depressors I guess, and they're much better. They are solid, so I've got a lot more of those on the way. Anyway, I hope you like this video. Just let me know in the comments what you think. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Don't forget my giveaway at 1,000 subs. Very close now. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.